draft lottery happened like 4 days ago or something like that.
Yeah, I did not watch it.
I didn't watch it either because I thought I could use my Maple Leafs mojo and not jinx the Red Wings into moving down. That's the last thing I have on your camera roll is the amount of spots that teams have jumped up or moved back, and since the lottery has been a thing. Now, like some of them were, when you could jump up 1 million spots, right? And some of them were when you could only drop like 2 or 3. So it's kind of shocking to see, like, obviously the Rangers being a plus 14 was the Lafreniere thing, and we're going to talk about Lafreniere in a second here, but Chicago plus 10, Philly plus 9, Carolina and New Jersey plus 8, Dallas plus 5, Winnipeg plus 3. Everything else is kind of in the middle. Vegas, Edmonton minus 3, Anaheim minus 4, Vancouver, Arizona, Buffalo minus 7, and now Ottawa and Detroit are minus 8. That's fucking crazy to me. Like, now, they did move down this year. Wings are at 9, right? And I mean, Canucks. I mean, moved their pick, right? Didn't they? Oh, they're right there.
We moved the.
You moved it. You moved the one this one.
Yeah,
the Bo Horvat. Okay. I don't want to rant, okay? But I went to Home Depot to do some of this stuff, okay? And during the draft lottery on purpose because I didn't want to watch it. I wanted to be unplugged for it. And I just got to say, I sent a list to Lou of, like I said, who's your, 5 teams? Like, who's your depth chart of teams you don't want to get the first pick, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Connor Bedard, is supposed to be a phenom. We'll see. I mean, I've heard the same thing about Lafreniere, too. I mean, maybe not as much, but I'm telling you, my number 1 was Chicago. My number 2, sorry, Lou, was Montreal. I didn't really want to be there. Then he'd be in the division with Detroit.
Yeah.
And then it was like, after that, who gives a shit? Really, I could care less if anyone else got the first pick. I'd be like, all right, Anaheim, Columbus, San Jose, whatever. Arizona, fuck it. But Chicago.
Of course,
Are you fucking kidding me?
You're going to know you're going to hear more of?
Get rid of the song. Also, Toronto, get rid of your stupid Hall & Oates song. It literally reminds me of failure at this point. Change it up. It's such a stupid song. Anyway, I just kind of am mad that and I know it's never going to be fair, right?
Yeah.
So to not come off as a whiny bitch, I understand how this draft lottery works. We've talked multiple times now about how I don't think there should be a lottery at all.
Yes, have the crappiest team.
NFL, MLB, same damn thing. It works. If you think that's the way to build your team, then be shit. Really. Yeah. I mean, then you're terrible. Now, Chicago was originally 3rd, and they were awful this year. Terrible. They clearly were tanking it. I mean, the GM was. He's a new GM. That's what I would do. Fuck it. Let's rebuild this thing. Traded away Kane, Taves. Hey, we're not bringing you back. We're going to trade away Hagel. We're going to find everybody's gone. Dak, he's gone. I'm going to bring in all my guys. Their best player this year was Andreas Athanasiou.
Ooh-wee.
Right? So
that's saying something.
I'm just rattled that they. And maybe unfairly, I'm thinking of if I think about when Datsuk and Zetterberg were done, we weren't immediately handed here's your next guy.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. Kane and Taves were here, this and then now they're gone, and I was looking forward to Chicago going through an absolute. Now they're not going to be good next year just because they're getting Connor Bedard. Their team is awful. He's going to have to carry the damn team as an 18-year-old. That's not going to happen.
No.
Even McDavid's first year, he was maybe point per game. But that's not. This team is just not good enough to go anywhere. Now, in a few years, sure, they got an interesting prospect pool. I was kind of checking it out.
All right.
But I was just mad that, are you kidding me? Of course. The one team where I'm nah. And it's because Detroit and Chicago, there was kind of
that rivalry there.
Yeah. And
both have had their success.
But it's different because I used to feel the same way about Colorado. They won the Cup last year. I didn't care. I mean, it's so far in the past. This is a little still because Kane and Taves are still there kind of. People were talking about the whole Kyle Beach thing and all of that, and I'm like, okay, listen, that did happen. Yes, the owner is still there, but lots of that one guy, that trainer went to jail. He's in jail now. There's other things that happened there, but all those guys are gone now. If I'm trying to look at it in like Chicago fan perspective, like when can we move on? You know what I mean? Like they've kind of like, hey,
the guy to help set that next era.
I'm not even saying that. Like you're right, but at the same time, like people were shitting all over this because like, and I feel bad a little bit for Connor Bedard because now I have to hate him because he's on the Blackhawks, right? But like, listen, I liked Kane and Taves. I liked how they played. Didn't mean I liked Chicago, but it'll be the same way with Bedard. I'm just gonna be like, are you kidding? Like really?
Yeah.
Like he's there. I would have been okay going anywhere else. I'd have been like, cool, good for you, man. Like I'll watch you, right? But I think it's a little bit unfair to be like, oh, like this whole thing, they swept it under the rug. It's like, they did. But because the NHL decided, here's what your fine is, Stan Bowman is out like basically forever. Joel Quenneville, same thing. They have to like get reinstated, which they probably won't. They got fined like $2 million, which ironically, right after they won the draft lottery, they sold like $2.5 million of season tickets.
Of course.
$2 million? Like,
$2 million is nothing.
Whatever. Nothing, right? So that's where I kind of went, I don't really, I understand it, but at the same time, some people are going to have to go, all right, we have to move on, right? Remember what happened, move on.
Yeah.
Right?
Remember how
I don't want, now the draft is in Nashville. I really don't want people booing, like, this kid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't have it was a lottery, man, right?
It's not his.
Now, but also, the thing that's interesting is, like, there was kind of a little bit of a fuck up with the, like, did you see what happened?
No, so I didn't watch
Kevin Weeks was the one that was, like, announcing the picks, like, Bill Daly would flip it over and be like, whoever, like, Montreal. And then Kevin Weeks would be like, all right, Montreal's picking fifth and blah, blah, blah. The last time they did, he'd give you the details, right?
Yeah.
For Columbus, who's picking 3, they moved down 1, right? So basically, Kevin Weeks started talking about Columbus moving down to 3 before Bill Daly flipped the card and they went to commercial. Oh. So people are like, whoa, what the hell just happened there? Because it means that Chicago jumped into the top 2 with Anaheim, right?
Yeah.
And then they came back and Columbus 3rd. Like, we already know it. So here's the thing. People that are saying, okay, the draft lottery is rigged. It's not. Okay? Now, the way that they have done this opens the door for discussion. And that's the problem. The problem is now there is a debate. You can have the conversation. Well, why didn't they do the draft lottery like live? Why did they have to do it? Like, we don't see the process, right? Now, I don't know if they do that in the NBA where it's like, boop, here's the ball, here's who it is.
You know what? You could find out on Tuesday.
Well, that's a draft lottery, so I probably will. I'm interested to see, like, do they actually go, like, you see the process happen? Like, draw the thing, right? Draw the ball. Boom, here it is, right? Now, the NHL, how they do it is like, it's like a combination. It's like 4 numbers.
Yeah.
But also, like, and the thing is like, the place that they're using has been audited for fraud in the past. Like, guys, like, it's opening up the discussion. Now, this was a presentation screw up.
Yeah.
They knew what the results were. They put the cards in order. It's not that they shuffle the cards up, right? They're like, we're just going to do this for the presentation, right?
Yeah, sort of save time on
Weeks probably jumped the gun and didn't realize, like,
that Daly didn't flip the card yet.
But it's weird that they did that live. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you have that on, like, a tape delay? But that also, you know, opens stuff up to go, like...
Why is it delayed?
Now, obviously, Bedard going to Chicago, Bettman's cream in his pants. Because that's, like, best case scenario, right? Was probably there or Montreal. Where I would say that you go, all right, it's not rigged, is if it was ever rigged. Don't you think having the Red Wings as a top contender again would be great for the NHL as an original 6 team? You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't they have landed the pick to get, like, Lafreniere, like, or moved up somewhere? Wouldn't they rig it for that? What's the difference between Chicago and Detroit? They're American teams, both original 6. Obviously, Boston, New York, like, when they're good, they love it, right? So it's not rigged against the Red Wings, and it's not rigged for Chicago. It's a lottery, but people are always going to say it's rigged. There's always going to be 31 fan bases that are pissed off.
Yes,
and only one that likes it. So I just think it's stupid, and there shouldn't be a lottery. It's all about, we're talking about it. It's negative press, but, like, it's press. Like, people are talking about it. Like, dude, did you see what happened? right? Even the screw up. Like, can you imagine they did that on purpose? So people would talk about it, but it's like now I mean,
smart as the Dickens.
Yeah. So I would get rid of the draft lottery. I am excited to see, like, this is apparently a deep draft. I'm not a scout.
I'm not either. The only other name I know on there off the top of my head, well, okay, 2 names, is, Fantilli and Will Smith.
Will Smith. Yeah. There you go.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Fantilli had a great season in Michigan, and I think that's a great, I won't even call him a consolation prize. I've said in the last pod that this draft reminds me of like McDavid and Eichel, right? We're like, now, is Bedard a McDavid type player? Like, we'll find out. Apparently he's projected as a franchise guy. But Fantilli and every other type of draft, he'd probably go 1. Like Leo Carlson is apparently like an insanely good Swedish player. Like Michkov is in Russia. That's the only reason he would drop is because he has a contract with I think St. Petersburg or something. All these other guys are apparently pretty good. Like even some of these guys down here, this defenseman, this Sandin Pellikka, and there's another one. Do you remember? Where is he? Up here. Oh, Reinbacher. He was on Austria for the World Juniors. They're getting rocked, but he was actually like their best player. There's some good play. Colby Barlow. Remember we went to the game where they got smoked the Spitfires? Yeah. He's a top prospect. He's a top 20. He's a top 20. So
prospect there.
Our teams will still get a good prospect. I mean, this top 5 here is interesting. I mean, I'll probably chat more about, what I think the Wings will do on the Red Wings report, right? But what I want to say to anybody watching or listening, don't take too much stock in mock drafts or what the experts say. Even watching the NFL draft, like, I just realized, like, no one knows shit.
No.
Right? Like, least of all us. Right?
Well, so a couple scrubs.
If you hear me say, like, I really think Will Smith should be the pick, if he dropped. Like, I don't know. Like, I have no idea what is going on in these rooms.
Right? We don't know what teams are going through.
No clue.